Welcome back to the Star Wars Exchange podcast. Today we are discussing The Mandalorian and Grogu and the trailer that just dropped. I'm Ari, he is Mike. Mike, Mando and Grogu, what are your thoughts?
Hey everyone, yeah, we're here talking Mando and Grogu. Straight off the bat, trailer was great. It feels like this is the successor to season 2 of The Mandalorian. It feels like this feels like I'm watching season 3, to be honest with you. Feels like season 3 of Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. Like, just for me, not that they're doing this, right? But just in my mind, I'm like, oh, like I want to get that out of my mind a little bit. But some of the visuals didn't help that were reminiscent of some of the seasons. But honestly, it just felt warm, and it felt exciting, and it felt just fun, and it felt like I was back in the 2020 era of season 2 of The Mandalorian, and honestly reminded me of that type of fun. So honestly, watching that trailer gave me a lot of nostalgic feels for something that just happened a couple of years ago, or yeah, a few years ago. So yeah, it was fun. Can't honestly never didn't think I was gonna say this for Mandalorian Grogu, but I kind of can't wait to watch the trailer, or I mean to sit down and watch the movie. Because this felt exciting. This is the most excited that I've been for the whole project. So my gears are turned. How about you?
Interesting. Yeah, I would say this is the most excited I've been for the movie as well, but that bar is very low, so I'm still not very excited at all, to be completely honest with you. But the trailer itself, it was okay. I definitely didn't love it, didn't hate it either. It still just feels like a trailer to the next season of The Mandalorian, and not so much like the big return to Star Wars for the big screen. I'm struggling to detach it from season 3. I'll be like, well documented on this podcast how I feel about season 3, just an absolute train wreck of a season of television. So I like the where you're coming from with, let's just forget about season 3 and this is the real season 3, but I'm not quite there yet. So yeah, like it was okay, but to be honest, like I say, it feels like it was a trailer for the next season of the show, and let's just imagine it was that. I wouldn't be that excited for that season either, because to be honest, like I said, it's coming off the worst season of the show by far, and a lot of what we saw, there was some things that got me excited, which we'll talk about. Some things that I just felt like same old gags, same old story. Din telling Grogu just to stop pressing buttons. Don't eat the cookies, Grogu. So funny. And then they're going to get separated again, and then they'll be reunited again, like we've already seen. And then Din's got his helmet on, helmet off, and now is he going to have to go and just have another bath and put the helmet back on? Like, so I don't want to sound like too negative, but I'm struggling to find any optimism for this movie. I'm very well prepared to go in, give it a chance, and hopefully enjoy it. But I'm still not quite there, and this trailer just didn't quite get my excitement levels, at least to the levels it sounds like you're at. But in saying that, on a more positive note, I hope that the trailer is showing us almost nothing from the movie, because like I said, maybe it did feel a little dry, but my hope is, and I think this is a common trend with Jon Favreau, his trailers don't really give you a glimpse into what the movie is actually going to be about. And if that is the case, fantastic. I don't really want to see what the movie's about. I want to go in and be surprised. So I'm not going to judge the movie based on this trailer. I want to go in, be surprised. And if they're keeping their cards close to their chest, then I'm okay with that. I'm happy for that to be. But yeah, that's sort of where I'm at.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, listen, Super Bowl game spot, like
Oh
everybody
boy.
was talking about that there's gonna be a trailer. And honestly, I mean the trailer, the TV spot, whatever, was synonymous with that Seahawks game. Like, it was just whatever. I mean, I just sat there and I was watching the ads too along with the game, and it came on and I was like, is this a beer commercial? I thought it was something for Bud Light or Budweiser, and it's coming on, and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, those are Tauntauns. The hell are Tauntauns and beer doing in a commercial together? So I'm a little confused because we've heard that voice play in front of beer commercials, so I'm a little confused. And then it ends up being a spot for Mandalorian Grogu.
Yeah,
Which what you're saying about the trailer is what I felt for that TV spot. I feel like they kind of heard all the reaction for the TV spot, and they're like crap, like scramble, put things together for a trailer. Like we got to put something out. We gotta like turn we gotta spin the conversation from this and turn the attention away from this like ad that like did no service for the movie. Because what you're saying about hype for the movie and hype to be back in cinemas for Star Wars, I mean, you're right. They should amp it up. Even to me, this felt like we've already gotten a full main blown trailer, and this feels like this is the second one. This is when you look back at Force Awakens after 10 years of Star Wars not being in the movie theaters after Revenge of the Sith. Like, good God, they like amped up the games, and I know it's because you had Han Solo, Harrison Ford in there, and Carrie Fisher as Leia, but in the trailers for Force Awakens, but there was something so magical about everything. And I don't need to sit here and just, put charms and sparkles in front of the TV screen, but step it up a little bit. And with the spot, it felt like we were like it felt like we were like maybe a year and a half away from the movie coming out. And instead it's like, oh, we're 3 months away from the movie coming out, and this is the like really the big first thing you give us, kind of. I mean, ignoring the teaser trailer, but I expected something a little bit more, and so that's why with this trailer, my expectations were already low because of the TV spot. So with this trailer, I was a little bit more like, oh, it's not more tauntauns. I was expecting maybe to see a Wampa here, or to see Luke's lightsaber in the ground or something, or see a crashed snow speeder AT-AT or some nostalgic callback. So honestly, with the trailer, I'm like, man, this just looks like fun. It reminds me of the Solo era of seeing the trailers and just being like, this looks like fun. And it ended up being like a low stakes adventure, and I had really fun with it. Solo to this day is like probably my number 1 or 2 rewatchable Star Wars movie that I feel like I could put on anytime and just have a good time. You don't gotta be seated for 2 hours and 30 minutes for a whole little adventure, but Solo's shorter than that. You can just sit there and crack open a beer, just sit there and mind your business and just sit down for some fun. And this kind of looks like it's gonna be a little bit of about that. So anyways,
yeah,
I just had to get that off of my chest.
No, for sure. And I think comparing it to Solo is good in the sense that, like, yeah, the stakes are probably going to be quite similar. But again, 7 years, no Star Wars movie, to come back with a follow-up to a TV show that most recent season was like, let's face it, at least in my opinion, was terrible. Yeah, I'm struggling to grapple with that idea, even though we've known that this is going to be the case for so long. And yeah, with the Super Bowl trailer or teaser, TV spot, whatever you call it, I wrote down about the trailer that we just saw. It's the best thing we've seen from the marketing of this movie. But again, the bar is so low.
Yeah, no,
I mean, that I don't want to spend the whole time talking about that commercial, but oh my god, like that was terrible. It was about a reference that I personally didn't get. I don't know if I'm sure maybe the older generation found it funny, maybe, but I didn't understand the reference. I just thought this is the most awkward, weirdest way to promote this movie that is very promotable. Like it actually shouldn't be the toughest thing to market this movie, I don't think. Like, you've got two characters who are very, very popular in pop culture, in the Star Wars universe. Like, that in itself is like, go ahead and you should be able to nail the marketing for this movie, even if the movie itself is no good.
Who's been in the box office conversations recently in award shows? Pedro Pascal. Like, you can totally market the movie with him, and it seems like they were like, oh crap, like people's response to that TV spot, like, let's throw a whole bunch of helmetless Mando in here. Let's show a lot of Pedro Pascal. Like, maybe we're waiting for the big reveal in the movie, but you know what? Screw it. Like, let's put him in the trailer so people can see, like, oh my god, it's Pedro Pascal in here. So honestly, like, there's some points in this trailer, what you were saying about, which we'll get into, about certain callbacks feeling again like so reminiscent, like we've done this before, and definitely like there was a lot of of that, and I feel like they're just like, let's hit them with a lot of things that they liked before that we did on Disney Plus. Let's do it now on the big screen and see if they like it even more. So for sure.
Yeah. And I'll say as well, like I what you say about wanting this to be like, you know, the actual season 3, and let's just throw season 3 out the door. Don't get me wrong, I'm completely down for that. But season 3, the biggest reason I dislike that season is it unraveled the first 2 seasons of the show, which were fantastic. I love the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian and Grogu. You know, the Razor Crest is gone, and at least in this movie, well, don't worry, we'll replace it. Or in season 3, Grogu leaves Din. Don't worry, next episode, they're back together. You know, Din removes his helmet. Oh, don't worry, the character growth is just reversible. Like, that's completely fine. Din is exiled from his covert and becomes an apostate. Don't worry, he just takes a bath, and it's all good. So going through that unraveling once, to go through all of that again to get back to where we were at the end of season 2, I'd be like, I'd be disappointed if that's what the movie was. But then on the other hand, it's like, I don't want to continue from season 3 because that was no good to me. So yeah, I don't know. They're in a precarious spot. It's such a questionable decision to go forward with this movie. I'm actually fine for the movie to exist. I want The Mandalorian to get back to where it was and the heights that it reached in the first 2 seasons. I'm fine for them to do that. But for that to not only be a movie, which in itself, I think it's a strange decision to go with it as a movie. I understand from maybe a financial perspective why they're doing this, because it probably will do decent at the box office. But 7 years, no Star Wars. I'm just going to keep coming back to that because I can't believe it's been 7 years. It's been an absolute mess at Disney and Lucasfilm, and this is the first movie we get. Like, am I just being stubborn holding on to that? Like, do you agree? How do you feel?
I tie it back to the TV spot. It was just so telling that we haven't learned our lessons. You could have totally dropped, if you're spending millions of dollars for that 30-second ad spot, why not do a little clip of the trailer and then put full trailer online now? Like, if you're going to spend the million, it just seems like we haven't learned the lessons from Solo. And what I'm scared happening is that we're 3 months out from the movie debuting, and we're barely putting out our marketing together. Like, it's just a little scary, and it kind of travels in Solo waters for the wrong reasons, because I'm scared that box office is not going to be all that for this movie. Not too long ago, the Grogu Baby Yoda was such a, like, it was the number one thing talked about on this planet.
It was a phenomenon. Yeah.
And the fall off is crazy because of season 3. So no, I don't think you're crazy. I think it's telling again that Lucasfilm, we haven't learned our lessons. If this was the first time around, be like, okay, maybe they're struggling trying to market a Disney Plus series that's now a movie, or it's going to be a follow-up. Like, I get it, but we haven't learned. And the TV spot was so telling, where I just sat there and I'm like,
yeah.
I mean, I laughed because I know what they were spoofing, but I'm like, I'm like, classic Lucasfilm, the mall trailer that we just recently covered on this pod. I mean, we could have gotten that back in like October or something. Why we wait to the last minute, to the clock is about to strike midnight, and then we're like, oh, you know what? Like, it reminds me of how I was in college when I was doing essays. Like, it was like, oh my God, it's Sunday. My paper's due tonight, 11:59. I wouldn't start that paper till like 6 sometimes. And it was like 5 pages that I had to do. So I'm like, oh my God, I got to throw it together instead of like, adequately putting work together and research together. I was scrambling last minute. So that's Lucasfilm feels like that a lot to me. And it's not like they have a full slate of films coming out like Marvel did like 3 years ago. It's like you have one theatrical release and you can't even market it properly. You're waiting 3 months until it comes out.
They're already marketing Starfighter, which I'm like, great. I can't wait for that movie. And that's great. But why weren't we doing this for this movie a year ago, the way they're doing with Starfighter now?
What's so funny is a lot of the fandom, a good portion of the fandom, is so ready to just bypass this movie and go right into Starfighter. It's so funny.
I'm included in that. I can't lie. I'm going to go see it, but it's,
You know what? I can't either. So,
and to be clear, for those wondering why, we're talking about box office, and neither of us care about how much money Disney makes. Right? It's nothing about that. But if this movie is a financial failure, that that pushes Star Wars in a bad direction. Like, because they're not going to go, oh, okay, maybe we'll steer away from the Mandalorian and Grogu or whatever it is. They'll go, oh, maybe Star Wars doesn't work on the big screen anymore, whatever it is, you know. So that's where the interest in the box office comes from. And we saw what it did with Solo. Solo was a great movie, which, you know, both of us really enjoyed, but because of what the financial side of that movie, it didn't succeed that well, which a lot of was in their own doing. Alden Ehrenreich is just pretty much done as Han Solo. They haven't revisited any of that story. That Solo was meant to be a trilogy. That's why it's important to discuss the marketing and the financial side of these things.
And based on Lucasfilm's past, they're so quick to react where it's like, oh my god, like the Solo thing. It's like, oh my god, they had plans for a Maul story, they had plans for a Crimson Dawn story, you know, whatever that may have been. Scrap. Like they just, you know, and it's important to talk about these things because it's like maybe someone's out there listening and maybe they can get an idea of like, oh my god, wait, like, you know, maybe that Mexican and the Australian on that one podcast, maybe they weren't just throwing stuff in the air and seeing what sticks. Like maybe they have a point, but I mean, you know, it's just mind-boggling sometimes about the way things are marketed, and it's like, wait, we've done this before and it wasn't too long ago. I know it was pre-pandemic, but I mean, there's still some lessons to be learned here, as Tobias Beckett once said. But I'm getting, for all the good feelings and all the good feels, I'm getting Solo vibes of like a low stakes adventure, just a fun film and something needed after Last Jedi, where I'm like, oh my god, I just want to walk out of the theater and not have all these questions and decisions in my mind, like at the forefront. I just want to walk out and be like, man, that was some good fun Star Wars. And that's what this will look like to me, if you know, based off what I've seen. It, you know, it looks so fun, but just it feels like Lucasfilm doesn't have any confidence in it the way they've been marketing it. So I'm just, you know, I can't wait till May to see what the movie's about, what made them make this, what made Favreau and Filoni put this forth in a movie or whatever. But I just have questions about the way we're going about it, but whatever.
Yeah. And yeah, look, for sure. I don't want to come from the just be all the negative Nancy. I want to like this movie. Genuinely, I really want to like it. I'm struggling to see a world where I do, just because of everything that's going on around. And you said, I'm wondering what got Favreau and Filoni to go and make this movie. I think Disney said Disney Plus ain't doing too well for us. You know how we were going to do season 4 of The Mandalorian? Why don't we just do a movie? And Favreau and Filoni just had to go, okay, like, I guess that's what we're doing. I don't know what's actually happened. That's just my theory. But anyway, moving on. Let's try and talk about the movie itself. Let's try and get me excited about this, because I do want to enjoy it. And there was some fun stuff to talk about in the trailer. So shifting away from the business side and all the background noise going on, the trailer itself. What did this trailer tell us about what's actually going to happen in the movie? Because it didn't tell us a whole lot. And like I said before, I'm fine with that. I want that to be the case. I don't want to know. So let's go into it. So I'll jump us off here. I sort of thought, I was listening to Joseph Scrimshaw and Ken Napzok this morning, and they sort of laid out something that I really resonated with me about the trailer and what it was actually saying about sort of Din's journey within this movie, where initially it seems like the state of play at the start of the movie is going to be him and Grogu are, you know, doing their thing, going after off adventures, and his bounties are probably going to be like, you know, Imperial warlords and whatever, stormtroopers, things like that. And he wants to be doing that because he wants to go out and get revenge on the imps for, you know, ruining Mandalore and that. And then Sigourney Weaver's character is probably going to come in and say, okay, now I want you to go get a Hutt. And he's going to go, oh no, I'm happy going and, you know, taking revenge on the Imperial warlords. And then she says the line, well, this isn't about, you know, revenge. This is about preventing a war. So the Hutts must be implicated in this somehow. And then, you know, how does Din feel about that now? And then the movie's probably going to play out. And then there's just a bunch of, you know, action sequences, and it just shows off the movie's like adventure fantasy side. So that's sort of the best I could do piecing together the film. But yeah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think you're on point there. I think that was my favorite line of the trailer. I mean, they didn't give us much dialogue, right? But Sigourney Weaver's line of "It's not about revenge; it's about preventing another war." I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. It that line alone, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, man, I want to read what the Aftermath books were about, even though they're sitting somewhere back there. I want to read about them, about how they were able to really finalize one war and prevent another for some time. The New Republic, that is. So I want to learn more about this era. I think it's a fascinating era. I mean, take it back to start of Mandalorian season 1, where we were like a little confusion about what was going on in the galaxy with New Republic and whatnot. I mean, we got some clues spread out throughout the season of the New Republic, and then what they were calling the Imperial Remnants, and then what Moff Gideon, his involvement, and how the hierarchy is kind of working. And then we got more of it in season 3. You know, the episodes might have not have been good or story decisions in our opinion, but some of the things I did like was learning what was going on behind the curtains and in the ever more vacuum that is left of the imperial hierarchy and stuff, and all the grand admirals and warlords together talking about kind of secret projects and everything. So that was pretty cool. I mean, I did like that. So, and actually in the trailer, apparently one of the warlords that appears in the trailer was in that conference room at the end of season 3, in the hologram with meeting with Moff Gideon. So who knows where that's gonna go? But yeah, I mean that I'm in. That sounds cool. Seems like with the Imperials gone, that's given more credence into the criminal underworld, and they've been able to flourish and everything. So, and we know that from Star Wars comics and books, you know, right after the Empire gets taken out, there's a criminal element that comes out, and it's Pikes and the Hutts and all the little cartels that come out and flourish because there's no Empire to kind of keep them in line, and it's kind of the New Republic, and they're like, we don't really care about you guys. What are you guys like? What are you gonna do? You know, are you guys the hallway police or something compared to the Empire, where the Empire were like brutally murder them and everything, and New Republic is like, well, we're gonna set a fine, or we're gonna set this law, or we're gonna arrest you, and they don't care. So I am interested to see what maybe the Hutts are up to and such.
No, for sure. And another detail or a line that was intriguing to me is when Din said, "This kid will live centuries beyond me." Obviously, you know, we all know that Yoda lived to 900 years, whatever, and Grogu's only like 50 or something at this stage. But that got me thinking, and I've seen a lot of speculation online around this. It feels like this movie is going to do two things in terms of like setting the future up of Star Wars. I think it's really going to set up what's to come in the Mandoverse, whether that's a Thrawn appearance or just, you know, setting up that story with this low stakes adventure, pushing into, you know, Ahsoka season 2, and then Dave Filoni movies, if that is still going to happen, and all that sort of stuff. So it's going to sort of set the Mandoverse up to sort of its conclusion, because I do think it'll come to an end soon. And then that line specifically, "This kid will live centuries beyond me." The same way I think this movie is setting up the future of the Mandoverse, I think Starfighter is going to set up the future of like the post Rise of Skywalker universe. And I wouldn't be surprised if Grogu was to appear in like the Rey movie. So this could be that would be the thread between this and Starfighter, and then Starfighter to the Rey movie. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
That would be cool, because it's been, you know, I don't think that Star Wars should take the Marvel route and do some, you know, cinematic coalition and trying to move all these different chess pieces at once and then end it with a big game. I don't, you know, I feel like that's been done before, and I wasn't really a fan of what Rise of Skywalker did at the end of the movie, where it's like, let's make it with like at the end of Endgame, but with ships, and it just turned out to be like flat soda. It's like, okay, like we get it. So that would be neat, because it's not so in your face, where it's like, oh, you got to watch this movie to understand this, and then you got to watch this TV show to understand this. It just feels kind of straightforward, and it's like, yeah, we're gonna have little things along the way that will carry audiences from one thing to the other. Because what I love about Star Wars and Star Wars TV, it's like, you know, you may be into Skeleton Crew or you may not, and you know the next thing will come out as an animated show, and you could be into that or you may not. But it kind of throws the audiences in I don't know, in like a loop. Like it's like, and whenever I talk to fans now, it's like you should really check out like the animated show, or you should really check out Kenobi, or you should really like, not everything is for everyone, and that's fine, but we got to find kind of a balance to, hey, this is not so out there that you can watch it where it doesn't feel like you're doing a leap from watching a movie, from watching Revenge of the Sith to watching something like Skeleton Crew. And I love Skeleton Crew, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, like, we got to maybe find a balance that we can keep audiences kind of moving from project to project, if that makes sense. Like, you know, supporting all the awesome Star Wars stories that there are that don't feel like it's like kind of giving you a headache or whiplash going from thing to thing, where it's like, oh my god, this is so tonally different. But again, without something like that, you wouldn't get something like Andor, or you wouldn't get something like Skeleton Crew, right on the opposite sides of the spectrum. But I think where they got to figure it out truly is the movies. We got to figure it out. So hopefully watching Mandalorian and Grogu is not such whiplash to watching something like Starfighter or something. So that way we can keep audiences in the movies and continue getting these movies, because if they're going to be performing at a box office level like Solo, we ain't getting more movies like the Starfighter, or we're not getting movies like, you know, not that we were all asking for it, but we're not getting movies like Mandalorian and Grogu. So I'm just saying, TV shows, it's fine. Leave them, you know, keep doing your intrinsically different shows like Skeleton Crew and Andor. But I think when it comes up to the main stage, it's like you got to kind of clean up your act a little bit and have something stable and balanced enough that, again, general audiences, I'm not talking about people like you and me, our brothers or siblings or partners or whatever. I'm talking about people that you run out into the street, be like, hey, have you seen that new Star Wars movie? The way everybody was in December. Hey, you seen that new Avatar movie? Or you seen this? Yeah. Like, you got to just keep a nice balance. So
yeah,
I would love what you just said about having some type of thread along the way where it's like, oh my God, yeah, like that would be awesome. But hopefully, you know, Star Wars in cinema finds its stride and kind of wins back over audiences to keep making these productions happen. So
yeah, no, absolutely. And like, we want Star Wars to succeed on the big screen because we love Star Wars movies, and I think there's so much potential. You know, you've got the Dawn of the Jedi. I think the Hunt for Ben Solo is a great idea. There's tons of good ideas. The Taika Waititi stuff I think will be great. Tons of ideas, good Star Wars movies. Like, you know, just get me back in the cinema watching Star Wars. I would love nothing more. So that's, you know, that's why we keep talking about the business side of things, because we want these movies to succeed so that can actually happen. And another thing with like the thread going from one movie to the other, like The Last Jedi even led to Solo. Like, it was something very small, but even just Luke or Leia picking up like Han's dice at the end of the movie, whatever. Oh, sorry, Luke giving them to Leia. I haven't seen Last Jedi in a few years, but like little things like that. And again, from a business perspective, they're going to have to figure out, how do we keep Grogu around, because they know Grogu sells, puts you know, backsides on seats, and he sells merch and tickets, and they want him around for sure. If they can get, like, once this whole Mandoverse comes to an end, they're like, okay, we're just going to pick Grogu up, and now we'll just put him in the new Rey Jedi universe, and then he'll go on. So that's from a business perspective, that's as well why I think they're just going to want to tie those threads together. So yeah, that was something that was interesting to me. Anyway, I think another thing from the trailer, which I sort of touched on already, but so Din's got his helmet removed. Again, business perspective, it's a good call. You want Pedro Pascal to be able to go out and do interviews and all sorts of stuff, because it would be weird if you went into an interview and people like, wait, are you like actually in this movie, or like, are you just doing voiceover again? So I think that'll be good. But from a story perspective, him removing his helmet, are we going to revisit this plot point again? Is he going to decide now it's actually okay to have his helmet removed? What are your thoughts?
Well, season 3 again, I think season 3 threw us in for a full throttle of everything. To me, I don't know, it seemed obviously we just seen snippets, not much context, but it seemed like he was just it feels like he'll make a decision early on in the movie where it's a moment, maybe being like, maybe I'm done with this. We haven't seen anything of Bo-Katan. Maybe they had some type of, or the armor in this movie. Maybe he parted ways. Maybe it's like a 5-minute opening scene at the beginning, or maybe just a dialogue where he's like, I split ways with that kind of clan. I'm making my own clan or something with Grogu and Bo-Katan or this and that. And he's like, or maybe I'm just not gonna wear my helmet, or something significant. And it happens in the movie with Sigourney Weaver's character, and it's like she'll maybe be like, what? It's not about revenge. It's about preventing wars. Maybe take off your helmet too, so you can see better when you're in the cockpit, or she'll say something inspirational, and then Din's gonna take off his helmet and whatever. But no, I'm just I don't know, but I would like it to be a significant moment, even though it feels like we'll be retreading waters. But I do think that they need to establish something where they're. I mean, like you said, it's a good business call. Again, like I said earlier, you got to have Pedro Pascal marketing this movie, because if not, what you're marketing for this movie is a green little alien, and then the armor, like just some, mascot looking costume dude, and the rest. I mean, all this imagery from the trailer was nice, but it just looks like Mando and Grogu fighting aliens and monsters, and I mean, cool, but how do you get the casual audience in there, besides marketing Baby Yoda so much, but you know what I'm saying. So I mean, Pedro Pascal in the armor, seeing him again without the helmet looked good. It felt, honestly, what got me excited, one of the things that got me excited from the trailer was seeing Pedro Pascal again, because it felt like season 3 just felt like there was no life. And by seeing Pedro Pascal's life, I mean, he's a handsome dude, but just seeing that there's a actual what's his name? What's Din Djarin? Like the fact that he's really there, it brings it back to me it makes it feel like seasons 1 and 2, where when he took off his helmet, it was special moments. And here it kind of just seems like he's in the middle of a battle or something. But I would, it's just seeing Pedro Pascal as Mando again. I mean, it just brings it, it makes it feel like you said, he's actually there in the suit, because we heard so many reports for season 3 that he was never even on set, or we heard all these stories.
And I wouldn't be surprised if that played into the writing as well, why they decided, actually, no, now we want him to go and want to wear the mask again. It's just
no, that's true, because he was shooting The Last of Us, I think so. So
he's in everything now. So
I know he's in everything.
He's most recently an extra in the Halftime show. So
that's true. But don't even, because that would have been some type of cross promotion there, where it's like Bad Bunny's performing, you got Pedro Pascal, but then he goes in the middle of his dancing and grooving, he just goes like this, and it's a picture of Baby Yoda or something. You know how much attention that would have gotten. You know what?
I think the awkward dancing got enough attention for him, but
that's true. But I'm just saying,
shout out Bad Bunny, great halftime show, by the way.
Just something like this. I mean, Lucasfilm. But it would have been great. It was something like that would have been great. But yeah, seeing Pedro Pascal again. I mean, don't you feel like there's more life? Like don't you feel the Mandalorian's back? I felt like the Mandalorian was non-existent in the Mandalorian season 3. It feels like the Mandalorian's back again. I don't know the context of the scenes. It looked pretty intense, but it just seeing Din Djarin's face again, Pedro Pascal, it felt like there was energy and life back into Mandalorian. I don't know.
Listen, it looked like miles better than anything from season 3 for me personally. Maybe it's because I just love season 1 and 2 that much that all the unraveling season 3 did to that storytelling. There's just such a long way for me until I can get back to loving this show, or this the Mando and Grogu.
We'll nurse you back. We'll nurse you back. Don't worry.
but no, it did look. I was like, yeah, okay, I'm excited. I want to get back to that season 1 and 2 vibes. But in saying that, it does have to move forward. You can't just recreate what you had, obviously, which is why, I don't know, I'm sort of in two minds about it, where I'm like, okay, I like this. This looks like it's separating itself from season 3. But in saying that, I want you to separate yourself from season 3, but don't just recreate what you did in season 1 and 2. So
No,
I'm
for
sort of
sure.
like in two
For
minds
sure.
about it.
For sure. I mean, I listen, I feel Jon Favreau's love and appreciation for the Star Wars galaxy. Again, it was evident even in this trailer of seeing all these like interesting looking creatures where I'm like, yep, that has to be from a comic, or that has to be from some type of book, or this has to be from that. I feel it, and same with I mean, Dave Filoni, you see his DNA in here too, but I mean, oh man, it's just the Rocky boat. I feel like people underestimate the damage that season 3 did, and Book of Boba Fett too.
Yeah, don't forget about that one.
Don't that our scapegoat for a while was Book of Boba Fett, but no, it's both of these shows, or season 3 and Book of Boba Fett. But I mean, they just did so much damage where by the end of actually Book of Boba Fett, because it was so talked about in the finale, and people were saying, oh, like Mando's back, and it was because season 2 it was left off on this big high end, and it went, people were talking about it everywhere. And then we get to the end of Book of Boba Fett, and by the finale, everyone heard about Mando returning with Grogu. So then everybody was tuned in, and the finale was like the biggest thing watched in the Mandoverse. And then we get into season 3, and people are like, oh, wait, like for real, this is it? This is what you guys did? The fall off in ratings in TV viewing throughout season 3 like dropped significantly. Yeah. So I'm just saying the damage was there, and it was done.
Yeah. And I gotta say, I am going to put myself, I might need someone to restrain me, handcuff me to the couch, but I am going to rewatch season 3 leading up to this movie, because I have not revisited it since it came out. I actually need to refresh myself on what's supposedly meant to be going on in this universe. Well, Mike's just having a coughing fit in the background. Don't mind him. But yeah, I'm going to try my best to get through that season. Hey, maybe I'll come out with a new perspective. I doubt it, but maybe. So some more fun little Star Wars nuggets that were going on in here. We've got, I mean, two massive Star Wars Rebels fans sitting right here. Gara Zeb Aurelios was in this trailer. We saw him in the last one just for a brief moment, but he's actually talking. Steve Blum is voicing the character, which how good is that after, recasting Sabine, recasting Ezra, which it was fine. We won't get into that, but it is nice to just hear the same voice from our good old Rebels days. So yeah, how do you think Zeb is going to play into this movie?
Well, first I want to say Ari always loves hitting the hot button topics all the time, but not actually hitting them. Be like, oh, I'm gonna dance over it with my finger, but I'm not gonna.
Well, this isn't the recasting Rebels pod.
100%.
This is the Mando and Grogu pod, but we'll do the recasting Rebels pod one day too.
No, one day for sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to regain. I think I said I think I knocked on Book of Boba Fett too hard because coughing tech, but Grogu Zeb.
This is great listening.
100%. Zeb calling out to Grogu and being like, oh, I like that kid. Oh, instantly felt like I was back in Rebels. I had to do a double take, being like, wait, is this for real live action? So that was great. It's great hearing Steve Blum. We got to meet him when we did a photo op with him, meet and greet at C2E2 almost 2 years ago now, right? 2 years ago? Yeah. And he was just awesome guy. He was probably one of the most friendliest ones up in the group, and I got to stand next to him, and he did the Zeb voice for me, and he was like, "Oh, it smelled like you're having a great time," and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like it got me off balance. Like it did. I was like, "Oh my god, Zeb." So I know we've seen Zeb in live action before, but I mean, this is just incredible. And like you said, we're Rebels fans, so other people are like, "Oh, what kind of glup shit is this?" But for us, I mean, it's just seeing Zeb there and the history that he carries on his back for the whole, not just Star Wars Rebels series run, but also us growing up and being immersed more into Star Wars because of Rebels. I'm just like, yeah, he carries a lot of history for me and lore wise. But what you think, not only seeing Zeb in action, but hearing him and seeing kind of new scenes of him that we haven't seen before?
Yeah, no, fantastic. And I can't lie, this is related but unrelated. I was in the shower this morning, and I was thinking about So Zeb is going to obviously reunite with Ezra at some stage. I assume they're going to do this in the second season of Ahsoka. I have a fear because things that were such a big deal in that, like if sorry, I'm rambling here because it's hard for me to articulate this because it's a sensitive subject for me. But if Rebels had have been the sequel to Rebels had have been an animated series, which it should have been, I think this problem would have been averted. However, moments like Sabine reuniting with Ezra in Ahsoka season 1, it fell so flat. Like that was one of my biggest criticisms of the Ahsoka show. That was like, Ezra, like, he's been missing for 8 years. Like, you thought he was dead, and then you had this epiphany that he was alive, and then you went and found him in another galaxy, and she was just like, "Oh, Ezra, hey, how are you?" And I have a real fear that they're going to do that with Zeb. So, to be honest, that's where my mind went. Like, I guarantee you, like, Zeb and Ezra's being reunited will just be Ezra walks in and Zeb goes, "Ah, look at this kid," and like punches him on the shoulder, and it'll be like, what? Like 10 years or however long it was, you never saw him. He was in another galaxy. You all thought he was dead. He saved Lothal. He saved all of your lives. Like, come on. So just I'm just flagging that one early. I'm really hope that we can avoid that.
Sure.
But in the context of this movie, I don't know how he's going to play into it, but I'm excited to see him. I was disappointed we didn't get him in Ahsoka season 1. So yeah, Steve Blum, love him. Great that he's back. And hoping for him to play a role that does justice the Zeb we know from Rebels.
No, for sure. And I just want to let the audience know that the Zeb impression you did, don't be fooled, everyone. That's how Ari sounds drunk at like around 3 a.m. I have flashbacks.
Listen to it.
I have flashbacks there. I'm like, oh my god, no, he's talking to Zeb, not me. Anyways, yeah, no, I 100% agree. And I mean, where was Zeb in the Ahsoka show? I mean, like we kind of talked about. It's like, well, you already had him, but anyways, it's great seeing Zeb again. I can't wait to see what role he'll play. And just seeing him with Grogu was great because it reminded me of a little bit of two things, of not directly his relationship with Ezra, but just kind of like, not that, like, Ezra was kind of the baby of the group, so it's just interesting that it just took me back. My mind took me back there, and then also when Zeb was actually guarding babies in that one episode, the Future of the Force, I think, in Rebels, where the Inquisitors are hunting these babies, and then he makes some joke like, about
baby, stop crying, baby.
Yep, that's Ari for y'all at 3 a.m. But anyways, yeah, Zeb. I mean, again, seeing him say, hearing him say, "Oh, I like this kid." I'm like, yeah, man, Steve Blum, legend.
Tell me about it. Okay, let's do a speed round because we got a bit to get through, not a ton of time. But there was some other interesting stuff in here. Let's do it. Let's do a quick lightning round. Mike, Rotta the Hutt, what are your thoughts? Are they gonna go rescue him? Is he a good guy? Where's he at?
Aliens are real. Oh wait, wrong interview. Speed round. Yes, Jabba the Hutt's son. Interesting. We've been teased about this before. It was leaked before. I would have loved to see Jabba's son take over Jabba's criminal empire, but maybe he was like, you know what? That's the politics stuff is for Bib Fortuna to figure out. He can rule the palace and everything. I want to go fight. So maybe that's maybe we'll learn something about that. Maybe it'll be a one-off comment about how what's his name? Rotta. Rotta is I can't believe this is a thing, but you know what? All this Zeb and I'm loving it. I'm just in for whatever.
Yeah, this really just could have been the Rebels animated sequel show, whatever. But
the Clone Wars,
we're trying it in live action, so
right
there we go. But yeah, Brother the Hutt, excited. Now Hutta, we're gonna be traveling there. The twins are back from Book of Boba Fett. And it looks like Din's going to go for another bath, and he's going to run into that snake thing that Quinlan Vos and Obi-Wan fought in the Clone Wars. Except he doesn't seem to have seen much of the sun in terms of that snake, so it's like he's looking quite pale, sort of like me. But what were your thoughts there?
God, when I saw those two twins, I mean, it just took me back to when we were recording the Book of Boba Fett podcast, and some of it felt like a fever dream and fever nightmare, and just seeing those guys, I'm like, but it did remind me of Black Chrysanthemum, and I was like, oh my god, some of the good stuff in Book of Boba Fett. But I mean, I felt like the twin story went nowhere in Book of Boba Fett. I think it was just like, oh cool, let's show you a different type of, you've seen one what's the species of them? I think you just said it.
What, Hutts?
Hutts. There we go. Oh my god.
What?
You know what? Like, Ari and I talked about this real quick the other day about Star Wars brain sometimes is trying to get back into this world after. I mean, not that we ever left, but just talking about it out loud, you forget things. And so, anyways, Hutts. Even though I said it throughout the podcast, they're like, oh yeah, let's give you twins and let's put two in a throne. I was like, all right, that's cool, I guess. But I mean, it's cool to see them back. I mean, it feels like we're connecting a lot of the stuff here. It feels like a culmination. Even Jon Favreau said this is a culmination of everything that I've worked on in Lucasfilm since 2018 or whatever. So I mean, this feels like a culmination of everything we've kind of seen. So some good stuff, some bad stuff, but yeah. And
for sure.
The Quinlan Voss thing, I mean, really cool. I mean, just cool. It's a creature that they were like, yeah, this was a cool thing we did in Clone Wars. Let's put in live action. Awesome, cool.
Yeah, whatever. Absolutely. And now Hutta, I think more so seeing that planet in live action, that excites me. There were some cool shots of it. So very good. We got the Jarrett creatures come to life. They seem like they're going to be in the fighting pit. That's something that I'm like, that's fun. That's cool. I like it. And even just the creature that sort of spoke to Grogu toward the end of the trailer, I was like, these look cool. I like this. Fun, pulpy Star Wars adventure. Love all that. And then last of all, we haven't even mentioned it yet, but Embo is going to appear in this movie. I think there was this pretty strong rumor about that already. That was the one thing that sort of had me doing the Leonardo DiCaprio, thingo meme. So no, that was exciting. I'm sure Dave Filoni will be very happy about it. Not a lot to say about it. I don't think he'll necessarily play a big role. I just think they're like, okay, we need a bounty hunter to go do something in the movie at one stage. And Dave Filoni was like, I've got a guy for you. And they're like, yeah, we'll put Embo in, please some fans. And yeah, it'll be a bit of fun, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's what we're saying at the start of the recording of talking about how Star Wars and cinema and the return of it, and one of the biggest things in the main trailer was like, oh, there's that bounty hunter from that one animated show. when something like, one of the live action movies, it was something a little bit like crazier, and it felt like that was the big reveal of the trailer. Oh my god, it's Embo. Again, I'm a big Embo lover. I love Embo, but it was just funny in comparison. In retrospect, when you compare moments in trailers, you're like, like, oh my god, look at what Kylo Ren's about to do to Leia, and then switch over. It's like, oh my god, look, it's that one bounty hunter with that cool plate on his head. So, anyways, I don't want to.
It was cool.
I don't want to take away from Embo, but I'm just saying, like, it's
I completely agree with you. It's like, that.
But it's cool. I love. If they were going to,
the trailer was light. It was all right.
Yeah, it was fun.
Also, last thing, I think we're going to do a separate video on this in itself, but I'm just flagging it right now. So in 3 months when the movie's out, just remember I said this: Jar Jar Binks is going to appear in this movie. Guaranteed. I guarantee you Jar Jar Binks will appear in this movie. Grogu's going to have a flashback. Keller and Beck will take him to Jar Jar. Guarantee it'll happen. Go read the Jar Jar one shot. It's fantastic. I just read it. So yeah, I'm going to leave that as my closing thought of the show. But yeah, that just about wraps us up. Mike, any closing thoughts from you?
One thing I love about Ari is that, you can, I'll give him this cup for Christmas or something. Okay. And he'll somehow work it into if we're reviewing an episode about the Bad Batch, he will somehow integrate this cup into that conversation. Just how I did. I want to show you guys this cup, and that's what I just did. So I just did an Ari movement, but no, I think that's great. You were telling me about the one shot. People have been talking about the one shot. So
I'm not kidding, by the way. He will be in this movie. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen.
Okay. Hey, you know what? Hey, that would be awesome. It would be great. I would love that. And it would continue, Ari. You didn't really say this, but I'll help you out. It would continue that baby Yoda sequence at the Jedi Temple. You did kind of say Killer Beck. Oh, okay, all right. I'm just making sure. Closing thoughts for me. This conversation was chaotic fun, just like how I found the trailer. Just look like chaotic fun with the monsters and the creatures and ghouls and you know, I don't know. It felt like fun. It feels like an adventure of the week for sure. It feels like a trailer for an upcoming season of the show, but I don't know. I did like the IMAX logo being used in the trailer, where it kind of gave it this kind of cinema appeal, where it's like, oh, I want to go see it in IMAX. But or what was the word they used to, like reforged in IMAX, or forged or whatever. I thought that was cool, but I don't know. I mean, overall, it did with you want what you want with these trailers. That you want it to increase your excitement and all that, and it did for me. The beer ad didn't do it for me. The teaser trailer, I was just like, I literally viewed it on my phone, and I was like, all right, whatever. And this I was kind of excited for it, because yesterday they released this like teaser for the trailer, like an announcement that they were going to release a trailer, and I had this really cool shot of X-wings and some Y-wing bombers approaching, you know, with the sunset in the background. I'm like, oh my god, this actually looks visually stunning. So you know, I was like, all right, well, this is gonna be some trailer. So I didn't go what I usually, when these trailers drop, I try to watch them with my kids at school, but I waited till I got home because there was no time in the day. Got home, immediately queued it up, and I had a good time. I don't know. I watched it twice. I'm like, okay. I'm liking this. And honestly, I was just like, wait, when does this movie come out again? All right, cool. I'm gonna buy my tickets when it comes out. I'm kind of looking forward to it now. So yeah, it did its jobs for me. I mean, again, looks like a low stakes adventure, but it looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. So I'm in.
No, absolutely. I think I've said enough. Yeah, Mando and Grogu. We'll cover it as we get closer to release. You can follow me at Star Wars Exchange on Instagram, and Mike at all_Star Wars. Until next time, may the Force be with you. Adios.